What's up, anime watchers? I'm about to go ahead and give y'all this review for Tonari no Kaibutsu-kun episode 3. This episode right here was a 10 out of 10 for me. Right now, I'm in love with this series. Hands down for me, it's my number one romance slash comedy of the fall. Out of all the animes they have romance in there. They got some good ones. This season, or right now for the fall, they got some good romance going on. But right now, Taranari no Kaibutsu-kun is just number one. The animation is beautiful. Haru and Mizutani, they just work beautiful together. Just how Mizutani just basically explaining how she's feeling, and you just see how overprotective Haru is of Mizutani, man. It is great. So if y'all have not watched this series yet, or you have just stumbled across this video, peep out this anime. This anime, if you love romance anime and you like your little comedies with it too, this anime is beautiful. You feel the emotions with the character. But let's go ahead and get into this episode 3. They basically start off from last week with Mrs. Tani basically she confessing her love for Haru, saying basically looking up in the sky and she just feeling just great, and she look up at Haru basically I love you, and she realized and she caught us. She like, I see, I love my life. She said I was all in the moment. As we all know, Miss Atani, she's basically a bookworm and she's shy. So by her coming out saying this, it's just something new for her. But Haru wound up asking her, do she want to go out? And she said, no, I was just lying. But you know, she do love him, but she wasn't just being open with herself at the time. And besides, she was shy. So she kept saying she was lying, and Harvey was like, "Oh, you serious?" And he said, "Oh, I'm glad, I'm glad." And it really kind of hurted her because she in love, but she just hiding her feelings right now, and it really played on her mind after he said that because she's like, he said he loved me, he gave me a kiss, and he won't be with me, and he basically said that, and she's like, "What does that really mean?" It's like, it gotta be a bigger meaning behind that. So they wind up going back to class. So Saskia wound up bringing the rooster back to class, and with that situation, you see Saskia, I can't think of the other character name right now. It comes to me later on in the video, and you see Haru. They basically saying, yeah, you can't. No, she's actually like, why you keep the cat? He said, yeah, cats and roosters don't work together because Saskia was basically saying he got a cat, and you know how that works out. The cat's supposed to try to eat the rooster, but it was actually the other way around. The cat just scared the rooster, and the teacher basically tripped, and she went up on Haru, talking about you brought the cat back to. I mean, you brought the rooster back to class. Excuse me. And Howard like, no, I didn't bring the rooster back. Besides, he said Saskia wound up bringing the cat to class. I mean the rooster to class, and you didn't tell him nothing. So she was like, I think her name is Nasumi. Yeah, it's Nasumi. It's Nasumi. So Nasumi wound up asking the teacher, well, can we keep the rooster as a pet for the class? Because everybody talking about how in middle school they had like pet roosters in middle school. So she was like, no, you can't keep them. Besides, I don't think the other teachers gonna let us allow us to have rooster as a pet. So what wound up happening was they asked the teacher to ask the other teachers. So the older teachers wound up telling her, yeah. So they wound up was able to keep the rooster as a pet. So they wound up giving them a budget. So they wound up meeting up, I think, in the library to go talk about meeting up to go get the supplies and build a rooster a nice house. So what wound up happening was Ms. Tiny, she was still focusing on what Howard had said early in the day about, you know, why he glad, and Howard basically asked her, like, "Are you alright?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm alright." Oh, he like, "Oh, you sure?" He said, "You're not acting like yourself." And she's like, "Huh?" He said, "You well, then he said that after, but he wound up asking Mr. Tiny that you're not acting like yourself. You agreed to help watch the roofs, and now you agreed to come with us on Saturday to go shopping." He said, "You're not acting like yourself." And she's like, "Damn, he could really, you know, he must really care for me. He know when I'm not acting like myself." So they was at the store getting supplies for the rooster house, and you see Nasami and Haru basically going at it because Haru, he basically wanted to just pimp out his house for his little rooster, and she was like, "No, we gotta, you know, we gonna build him a house." And what wound up happening at that point, Mr. Tiny wound up was shopping for some food, and she wound up meeting Haru or the acquaintance, the ones that who took his was basically one of the dudes who was taking his money just to be his friend, and they was just basically using Haru, just basically using, wasn't really a true friend to him, but they really wanted to talk to Mr. Tiny. And Mr. Tiny started kind of freaking out, and Sasha wound up coming up and say, "Well, these guys mess with you," and they wind up getting into it. Haru basically come and save the day because he wound up seeing him, and he just threw one of the dudes like there was nothing with one hand. It's Haru. He's just strong. Oh, and I did forget to say that right before they all got together to go to the store, they wound up meeting at the baseball center. Now we wound up seeing a dude who was at the baseball center, and Harold, I'm gonna go say his guardian wound up getting a whole bunch of money, and he wound up walking off. And Nasumi thought he was pretty cute, and at this point was pretty fun to me on the story when they was teaching Nasumi how to bat with the bat. You see Mr. Tiny walk up and she got this old grandma dress, and then that part to me was pretty funny. Everybody see she dressed like a grandma, so that was a little funny part to me. But getting back on track, they wound up running away from the store. Not they left Nasumi there to get the supplies for the rooster because they didn't know the other guys didn't basically know Nasumi, and they wasn't trying to have no more conflict. So at that part Sasha wound up walking away and gonna meet up with Natsume and go help her get the supplies. Haru and Mr. Tiny had a talk. Everybody wound up going back to the baseball center. They in the parking lot now. They trying to sew the wood pieces, and Haru basically struggling. And she said, I told you to tell the person at the counter to get the pieces done correctly. Then you see Haru guarded basically come out and say, oh, y'all building a house, huh? He said, yeah, you trying to saw that wood? He said, yeah, that's a pretty tough job, but I got a saw in there. He said, I had a saw up in the building. And you see Haru basically get up, heated and riled. He said, you knew we out here doing this. You didn't tell us. He walks away. He go gets the saw. Now, at that point, you see Haru old acquaintance, and who they got with at the conflict at the store wound up appearing. And there was and Nasumi walked away to go get them some ice cream at that too. So they was basically telling Mr. Tiny, look, we don't want no problem. We just want to talk with you. And they say we feel bad about how we treated Haru, and we just really want to be his friends. And she was like, I don't, and she was kind of being overprotective too. And that part was real cute on her. She's being overprotective of Haru. She was like, I don't know if he gonna be friends with y'all, how y'all treated him and everything else. And the dude with the blonde hair, he wound up noticing. He said, "Ah, so you in love?" He said, "I see you in love with Haru." So she wound up, she blushes, she red. And Saskia like, "You in love with Haru?" He said, "Ah," and say, he wound up putting his arm around Mr. Tani, and when he did that, Haru appeared out of nowhere and punched him, say, "Don't touch her, don't touch her." So they wind and he's about to beat him up again. So at that point, Mr. Tiny broke up the conference. She said, "Look," she said, "They're Haru, they won't be friends." They said to show that they sorry about it. They want to build a house, and at that point, you know how guttuble. And that's the thing I really love about Haru character. He is so guttuble, but he could be serious when he wants to, and then he just got this look when he be looking straight at Mr. Tiny eye. That's like, yeah, that's my boy. So I just love how they got Haru character is on the story. But at that point they wind up helping Haru in the game build Rooster playpen Rooster house. So at that point he put his hand out. No, he started they did help him build the playpen, but Haru was so excited and he was acting like a little kid. He said, "You in love with this guy? Are you sure you won't be with this guy?" But you know what, y'all? To me, the crazy thing on a lot of animation, then in real life too. I didn't see a situation in real life when somebody wind up falling with somebody or somebody recognize a chick or somebody they want to be with. How does other people want to recognize like, oh, she cute all of a sudden? If you liked her, like you didn't like her, you didn't like her until I started liking her. Like really, if you should have tried to talk to her before I started talking to her. Don't try to show her no interest now because I'm showing her interest. Now, if you gonna show her interest as a friend, that's cool. But sometimes it seems like it's these characters or people so interested in people that you started getting involved with. It's like, really? Come on now. Go get your own person. But getting back on track, they wind up building the rooster rooster house. They walking home and everybody was going their separate ways. They got to the split of the road and Mr. Time basically said Haru, she said I could make it home from here. And he's like, I want to walk. He said, I want to keep walk. I want to walk home with you because I want to spend more time with you. And she wound up blushing and they was talking and I forget what line that they say, but they say not I forget what line Haru say, but he basically said a line like how he just having a great time just being with Mr. Tani, and since he been with Mr. Tani that everything been going great for him, and he said he was glad that he met her. And he was looking in the eye with that look, and she's looking up at him, and she's like, I give." She said, "Haru, I love you." She's like, "I'm really in love with you." And when they did that part, I was like, yeah, they're officially on. That's me. I'm like, they're officially on. But Haru wound up saying like, I'm in love with you, but I'm not in love with you like the way you're in love with me. And he was basically saying he said he made a sexual reference, but he just loved being close with her, and that's what we find out. I think Haru at the time he was just really trying to find his feelings. Like he was trying to find his feelings too. But what wound up happening is he said I was scared if I told you the truth you were gonna wind up leaving me. So he just loved being with Mr. Tiny. Mr. Tiny noticed that he loved being with her. And she said, well, we could go ahead and start all over. And she said, when you fall in love with me, she said, go ahead and tell me you love me, and that's the next time I tell you I love you back. And when she said that, it seemed like right there on the spot, Haru just felt straight in love with her. Well, that's what it seemed like to me. He's blushing, he's red, he's really like he just felt love right there, but he never said nothing. So they about to get ready to walk home. He get a text message on the phone saying Michan is on the way. So he basically tell Mr. Tani like he said, "Don't go home. Let's go spend a night together." and she literally took it the wrong way. She took it the wrong way at the beginning, but they wind up going to her house, and the daddy wind up opening the door, and he's like, "Who is this?" She's like, "He didn't want to go home, so he here." And the daddy he all freaking out like, "She bringing the guy here, and he ain't telling me nothing." So he kind of panicking, and he like, "Hey pops," and that was so funny. He make it like, "Oh, that's daddy already." But they go to the house. He's like, "Oh, you got a nice house." She's like, "No, this is an average house. This is an average house." So Mr. Tiny wound up making him some shrimp fried rice, and he was just so amazed. And she was at the ice box, and she seemed like she was real proud that she had made him something to eat. So he eating the food and he enjoying himself, and you see the dad is still with the newspaper, just over there panicking and stuff. So he wind up, if I'm not mistaken, they flip. Now this the part where things get interesting. Now they flip scenes right there. They go back to the baseball scene and look like Haru with Haru guarding. But at this point, you see somebody that looks just like Haru, and most likely Haru got a twin brother, and that's when Nasmi was talking about who was real pretty at the beginning of the anime. Either that's his twin brother or that's his brother, and Haru is just trying to avoid him. I cannot think of his name right now; it's not on top of my mind, but things like it's gonna get interesting on the next episode with that new development. But he's wind up taking he in the bath. So the funny part about this, you see somebody looking in the looking at trying to take a peek at Haru while he trying to take a bath, and he look up and the person wound up running away. So we're not sure if that was Mizutani or maybe that was her brother or sister. She was talking to somebody else in the house besides her father, so it's maybe her brother or her sister. But most likely it was Mizutani. So he come out the bathroom. He said, "This house got ghosts in there." And you walking with her shirt off, and she looked up. She just bloody red. She's like, "Oh," like he walking around naked. Like, come on, Mizutani, he just got his shirt off. He ain't walking around the house naked. So she's like, "Yeah, my daddy walking around with his box, so it should be okay for me to take a peek." So she looked up. Next thing you know, Harry on the sofa, knocked out sleep. So she felt mad because she didn't get to get her look at Haru's body. So she wound up killing him and say, "If you gonna go sleep in the guest room." They flip back to the scene with the brother calling Haru a coward because he ain't trying to not trying to see him face to face. But that's basically it with the Well, no, they go and then they flip back to the house, and you see she look at Haru. She shut the door, and Haru was acting like he sleep. He opened his eyes, and that's basically the end of the episode. But I think the next episode is gonna be real good, y'all. So this was, to me, it was a 10 out of 10 episode. It's good. Go ahead and check out the episode. Well, go ahead and check out the anime if y'all have not checked out the anime. But y'all watch, y'all doing watching review. I thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching my review. I'll catch y'all on episode 4. Later, guys.